This poem is called Life Work. There is something so precious, its impossible star streaks across your life, a pilgrimage to the secret of why you keep on living, picking up the mail, shuffling papers, paying over and over for hope to be who you must be, or why suffer? You ask yourself, could it happen? Yes. No. Yes. Its delicious, familiar taste rolls on your tongue with the name your mother called you by. And as you swallow this, someone finally absolutely born bursts forth like a new planet where you now walk with your head held up, knowing you can do your work, and it is good. I'm going to read a few poems from a section here that's from one of several unpublished manuscripts. This one's called The Passion of Dragonflies. And this is called Bearing Fruit. Her yearning to be fruitful was so great she could ripen in seconds. Pink-cheeked and full-buttocked, with a glow of a peach and a taste as sweet as the real thing. She admitted longing for shapes, seduced by pears, their firm figures lounging in a full bowl beside the bananas, arching their backs and spooning the oranges so juicy. Strawberries pursed as lips, pressed by grapes, piled deep in their perfect skins. Her passion? To run them through her hair. Almost too much for a girl to bear. This was written during my last sort of long solo retreat. Long, not that long, a couple months. But I was staying in a cabin in the woods, and so I had a lot of opportunity to write, even when I was supposed to be doing my practices. So this is called Supreme Being. At dawn, when the forest grows blue, and the dark, many-armed creatures towering over the house turn into trees, and the murky sky becomes an empty sea, whatever is awake, whatever is the deity, sheds its cape of stars to sit silently, pondering the world in nakedness. There is no grandeur. The swollen eye of the sun is slow to open. The earth still creased with the weight of night. Things are as they are, and in this, the heart of all that is supreme beats. This is called Pulling Weeds. I try to quiet my anxiety, cut the hum in the field, bees gnawing on sky, and only look up past the understandable trees into something untouched. Some sort of faith, vulnerable as dreams, where I leave myself unleashed as a leaf in wind and gone. Wanting this stakes me out between the white roots of spring grass, exposed to the sky, conditions of the soil, dry hollow of summer, choke of ice. Above ground, air is everywhere. Even here in the dark, I start to see the space between things, in and out, the same. No going, no coming. No one is saying anything. Roots dangle from my empty hand. And during that time, I lived in Oregon for 25 years, so I'm re-entering the Bay Area. I've been in culture shock for 3 years. After living in like the total rural area. Woo! But this was written outside my little trailer where I lived up on the side of a hill. It's called Star of Night. The universe is a black star bursting through pines. Perfectly, the trees rise, bringing the edge of the world to meet heaven, where the still, jagged outline of night rests in rays of ebony between the needles. Flecks of diamonds scatter overhead, tiny ornaments on holy cloth, flung through eternity by the hands that hold us. So I'm going to read 3 poems from my daughter Sange that are from this, you know that name, from another unpublished manuscript called Lovebird, which I've been working on for about 30 years. It's all the poems I've written for her, and she just turned 29. And this is the first. And so this first one is the first, and then there's one that was written when she was a kid, and then the third one I wrote 3 months ago. So it's sort of a leapfrog type thing. Anyway, this is called Conception. In the struggle for flesh, you have made me your own. That battle was won in the dark tunnels my belly has to offer. You slipped silently past the attention of my passion, an invisible tenant, demanding my body and the best of me. My ways are threatened by commands to reform. I give you my dreams and habits, my self-image, the stranger in the mirror. She will hold a globe under her breasts, a world that knows its own time. Now you are nameless, a lump in the throat, awake at 2 a.m. when I don't know who I am. I read this to myself today and I cracked. This is called Never Leave Your Baby. Because her father has left her, she cries, wide-mouthed in the day, in the night, in her sleep, he is dead, staring inside her little head, his stolen face. He hated me as she watched from the trap of my arms, as he threw the words, she caught them. As I spat them back, they grazed her skin, enduring weapons. She stood at the window calling Daddy until the dust was wet where her eyes met the sill. It hurt so much I cry still and know it happened. I did it wrong. The bitch in my head says it was my fault. I wished I had never met him, but that lie breaks her from my heart, collapsed like the flat life she fills up. Daddy never calls. She doesn't know why. The balloon he blew for her birthday long ago shriveled on the floor. She kept it for years. She can't remember what he looks like. A pause that refreshes. This is called Hen House. The mother is never done. Her hands work her heart, Play-Doh shapes. The mold cuts her to size. She looks in the mirror of her child's eyes and stares back. She holds a bottle, a receiver, a broom, remembers not knowing what to do, but she never stops talking. Her voice an alarm clock, bullhorn lullaby, crackling long distance, muttering under her breath, quick prayers, hopes like great clouds on the horizon. She tells herself to let go. All birds fly. She cleans and cleans the nest, its emptiness, its clutter of songs. She learns to sing a new tune. She's off key, but carries on late at night when the other hens are quiet. Now I'm going to read just a few poems from another manuscript called Torch Walking Through Fire, which is another long, several decades of work that's sort of my spiritual, path, journey, pilgrimage, and some other probably trite words that you could put on it. But I'm going to start with this one called Living in the Temple. You will not waste your life. It is a diamond set into your heart, and light escapes through the many windows, opening you to the world. Everything that has hurt you is the carving of the jewel, brilliant facets formed in rough hands that have struck you down. Pain is a teacher. There is nothing to fear if you remember you are safe in the treasure house of awareness, the spacious center everywhere, the pure air of devotion, love that breathes into the emptiness of suffering. This you can trust. There are four contemplations in Buddhism that are very foundational. The first is the precious birth that you have. You're alive. This is very good. The second is impermanence, thinking about that everything's passing. The third is karma, which is cause and effect. And the fourth is suffering. So I think these four poems I'm reading are sort of along those lines. Anyway, this one is called A Closer Look. I could die bent, no teeth, a smudge of beauty, a cough, a dip left in the mattress. I could die alone, laying with the photo by the clock, watching it tick to the next minute, or in a car wreck, slowly or quickly hauled off on a stretcher under a sheet. Yes, look at her there, undeniably gone. I could be dying now, thinking of death as a postponed appointment. The organs and bones promise nothing is certain, not even you, the life I am constantly living, root of comfort, root of despair. My heart is in fear. Now it is bursting. Now it is empty. Now it disappears. For example, her karma is all in her head. Wherever she goes, it follows, dog on the leash of her tongue. Karma walks her to the corner in town with a red dress on. Karma sets her up in an apartment. Karma is the rent, always due. She comes back every night, cooks Karma dinner, that demanding tyrant, refusing to clean up. Karma follows her to the mirror. She can't distinguish between them. Their wrinkles identical. And when she dies, Karma will hold her like a promise. Thank you. And this is called Song of the World. We cannot bear the suffering of the world, and it is in us. Our hunger is the same, rooted in pain, and we want to stop hurting. We try to stop, knowing, so it will go away. So we freeze. Do not feel. Do not show yourself. We do not want to be seen in pain, so we hide from it, from ourselves, a sort of voluntary blindness. We cannot move, we cannot see, we do not want to be true. Paralyzed, the heart becomes numb, but sings inside without words, because words from the heart must tell the truth, and we don't want to hear it. Tell me I will not die, that I will not suffer, and I will listen. Tell me I must accept this tenderness, and I will hide. In that deep, secret place, pain is the consuming darkness, but we mistake it for safety, because it is familiar, it is real. When I open my eyes there, I am surrounded by the world. I will say this even if no one listens. I say it because truth is. When will we listen? Until then, we cannot hear the singing. It is as though we are all asleep together. As we stir, the song will be everywhere. It will wake us. Now I'm going to read a few poems for my hubby. These are poems for David. This first one is called Book. In your chair, your cave, head bent to book, your prayer, your cradle. Quiet lights your eyes, fingertips, bowing spine, wooing mind from its house of white head atop an old man disguise, dog-eared trappings of sage, sweatshirt loose on bones ground down into flesh we wrestle daily. Clomp along to the teapot, stand at the sink, look out over the Oakland hills, delight in their heavy gray. Pause on the way back to swallow titles, each a cell that fled your body for the shelves. Pause again, look in on me, still across the bed, belly of words, mythic dark patch, your full quill, breasts, oh, love's round letters, will write your poems, but today you are reading. This was written on our little teeny tiny balcony in Oakland. And it's really about something that happened. It was very wonderful. And it's called Out of the Fog. At night, when only sirens whine and stoplights change for no one walking, no cars, no joggers, no dogs, just cats bored with the bushes, tails high on patrol, the glittering lace of the bridge dims. We blink to see it's true, and I say, look. Low clouds from out on the ocean breathe heavy over the city, over the bay, into Oakland, swallowing the waterfront, its tips of red flash and sink into darkness. The freeway drowns, neon dims out, windows sift shut, buildings fade in the creep of Piedmont Avenue, where the edge of our neighborhood shadows and disappears. The glowing street globes above Brandon swell with waves of whirling mist billowing through the wash. We're above it, but of course we aren't, snuggled side by side in your plaid wool blanket. The swirl of each word drifts. It's for us, you say, as you take my hand into your pocket. Thank you. David's written a lot of poetry about dogs, so of course I have to now. And it's his totem. So he personifies the mutt. So he says. So there's two poems. This is called Dog Wisdom. Joy is this warm hum, life's quiet nudge of heartbeat, when stillness is everywhere, and that steady rhythm keeps on its own timepiece tune, gently serenading lullabies for the small child who sneaks in, ready to dance, during moments of ridiculous happiness like shooting stars. And it's okay they disappear, gone into the dark, lit cosmic mystery. Whole religions of searchings and knowings are based on this. Just like us, always nosing around for understanding, or a warm armpit, depending on whether you are a true dog or not. This will be my last poem. This is called Dogtail. This is a play off of David Dog the Lion, which is in David's work over several decades. Dogtail. David Dog the Tiger bounds across great risks, brief doubts, grunts, and gossips, past old worlds on into promised whispers and longings, satisfied, pounces on true heart, laps, licks, nourishes my heat, fires him up, writes love poems, delicate tenders, moon jobs, ecstatic recognitions. Prancing night cat roams into shadows of the beloved, loses his way, finds himself, follows blissfully smooth openings, purr, purr. Oh, David, beyond icons, totems, myth and memory, growling poems into me, leaving tracks, dog tales, mysteries still unknown to me. I love your sniff. Thank you.